Good evening and salutations, my B&B fans. I had to think about that for a minute. I'm gonna be completely honest. This episode, for the most part, played on repeat. Carter and Quinn. Quinn is. Carter's all like, "Oh, I can't be with you anymore. I gotta sit there and cut you out of my life or whatever. I gotta give up on you. I'm gonna sit there and be with Paris." And like, it was the exact same conversation from before, except for now he's just trying to do this hard pass. And once again, Quinn is like, "No, don't be with Paris. You don't really love her." And you know what? As I was sitting there watching this episode, I was just like, what was the point of putting Paris with Carter if Carter was just going to be like, I don't want to be with you anymore. I really want to be with Quinn. Like, what was the point of trying to do this heavy attraction and him, constantly sitting there thinking about, Paris just for him to sit there and act like, I don't know, a 12-year-old child and be like, oh, I'm done with this true toy. I want to be with you now. Like, what was the point of that? I feel like it was just so pointless even trying to put those two together. Even trying to put those two together. And granted, I feel like in a lot of ways, Carter kind of broke up Zende and Paris because before then, before this whole Carter and Paris thing got into the mix, at what point did Paris in any way tell or suggest to Zende that she wants to keep things casual? You know? At what point does she sit there and do it? So you seem like for the most part she was all in, and then the writers just like, all right, cool, let's make her with Carter. Oh, yeah, I want to keep things casual. Like, what? So you broke those two up to sit there and try to have this sort of new romance with Paris and Carter, and then you're like, let's put Carter back with Quinn. Let's have that happen. Yeah, let's do that. So then you make him look like this very indecisive character, and it's like, what am I even watching at this point? Now Carter's like, oh, well, even if I don't love her, I can still be with her. She has all these great qualities. And I'm just like, um, he didn't feel that way before. He didn't feel like he had to suffer. Like, he makes it seem like he has to suffer in silence a little bit by being with her so this way he can keep her mouth shut. Like, what? When did it become a chore to actually be with this woman? There were so many times he had like all these fantasies and stuff like that. I remember during his whole workout session, he was sitting there trying to, not think about her or whatever. And I'm like, now it's a chore? Since when? Since when? Listen, I don't even know how to put this, but the way they built up Carter's character with Gwen, Gwen is like, oh, you can be with any woman that you want. You can practically snap your fingers. And I'm just like, listen, I like women, okay? I will sit there and admit that Eric and like a suit looks like a very dashing man. But with that being said, I don't feel like Carter is God's gift to women. I really don't. But that's how these writers, and I'm from what I understand, he's also part of a writer. He's also part of the writing team. Um, has been trying to build Carter up to be. Any woman would be so lucky to be with you. They should be practically worshiping your feet, and it's like, what? And again, I'm into women, but uh, why are you sitting there trying to give this man this God complex? Why? Grace, I, I, she is the epitome of doing too much. Okay. Now Zende's not there looking at photos of him and Paris together, and creepy ass weirdo Grace is like right behind the shoulder, like, oh, y'all look so cute together. Y'all look so good together. What if he wasn't looking at pictures of Paris? What if he was looking at porn or something. Like, why are you sitting there creeping over this man's shoulders for? So it goes from that to this whole campaign of you gotta sit there and be with Paris, you gotta give it one more try, and it goes from whining to begging, and it's like I got to a point where I'm sitting there and I have my pen, I'm just like, because I'm like, I can't, like, with this woman, she is so nauseating. This is such a nauseating, controlling woman. And granted, I'm still sitting there thinking about that scene when she had the audacity to come in Carter's place, his place, and start telling him to shut up and that she's going to be heard in his place. Okay, that takes a certain level of gusto to sit there and tell somebody else in their own home what to do. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm never gonna like this woman. I'm never going to like this woman. That won't mean that I won't be fair towards characters, regardless if I like them or not. But I'm just not gonna like this woman at all. If, if anyone can pick up on that by now, yeah, it's just not gonna happen. I don't see that happening. You know what they say never, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Um, so anyway, she's raging. You know, she's just going on and on and on and on and on, just bothering Zende like he's not at work, like he's not working. I'm like, sweetheart, don't you like work at a hospital or you have a job at a hospital? Why are you over here bothering this grown ass man who's at work about being with your daughter when you know that he's busy with, work? Speaking of work, should you actually be there? I feel like this woman needs, like, I don't know, more things to do at her job or a man or a woman or something, religion. I don't know. Just pick something for this woman. Anyway, Paris gets there and Paris is like, yo, you gotta stop. And eventually he tells her, listen, I appreciate what you're doing. And, Grace was like, I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to. All right, fine. Just go somewhere. So more or less, she kind of tells him, she kind of tells um, Grace, just go home or get out the office. And she apologizes to Zende, and Zende's like, nah, it's cool, whatever, I get it. Yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. Now at some point, Carter comes in there and Carter kisses on Paris because at this point, I, I don't even care. To be honest, I don't even care. I'm not even gonna sit there and try to find a reason. I just don't care at this point. I really don't. So after Baker, talks to Sheila, and I'm just like, at first I was like, why are we showing Sheila for? She's in jail. Like, usually when a character goes to jail, unless they plan on getting out, we don't see them again. Because there's no point. Like, we're not trying to watch people in jail. I'm pretty sure they had a show on HBO called Oz, which was a great show, by the way. But we don't need to see these people in jail. But then Lee comes over. And I'm just like, Lee, why are you here for? Lee's there more or less to sit there and brag. It's to brag and berate Sheila for the terrible things that she's done. There's one point where she almost slips up and she's like, Finn is a good man. I'm like, even Sheila's like, I mean, he was a good man, right? Yeah, he was a good man until you ruined him. And until you ruined him, you killed him. Blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna be completely honest, I really did not care that much about that scene. It's just her raging and just, yelling at her and like, oh, that's my son, that's not your son, and blah. It's like, we get it. We get it. Like, it's just, you're at a 10. Could you bring it down to, like, I don't know, a 5? Maybe. We all get it. Sheila is, well, she's damn near the devil. All right? We got it. I'm sitting there the whole time. I was like, what is the point of this? Towards the end, the guard is like, listen, it's time for you to go, Sheila. She turns around. She looks at him because I guess she recognized the voice, and he's like, Mike. And he just smiles, and I'm like, because I was like, up until this point, I was like, man, And then the minute she said Mike, and Mike turned around and was like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, wait, it's over. But up until that point, I was like, wow. I was like, okay, this is interesting. I don't know who this Mike character is. Um, Clearly seems like a friend of Sheila to some extent. So I'm just like, because everyone's when Quinn is not there talking to Zindy, they're all like, oh well, we hope that Sheila goes away for a long time. She's not going to hurt anyone ever again. I'm just like, they were talking about this yesterday, and it kind of just dropped on deaf ears because it's like, yep, yeah, we already know that. Um, they made it a point as soon as they're saying it today. So now I'm like, now I'm interested in this my character. I'm assuming, Sheila's going to break out. Because, she kept saying to say, this isn't the last you're going to see of me. And it just reminded me of all those Scooby Doo episodes of if it wasn't for those meddling kids. And I'm just like, so we're just getting Scooby Doo level now, right? Right? We're just really getting Scooby Doo level. But now I'm just like, wow. Maybe her empty threats weren't so much threats anymore. Maybe they weren't. Every once in a while, they can surprise me. So, good job on that. I mean, I'll give you a point for that. That's the one thing that I can sit there. One of the many things I can actually sit there and say I love about what I do is that even when I watch an episode or something and it's a dumpster fire, okay, it's absolutely terrible. There's just so much wrong with it that I can sit there and talk about it for days. I generally do have fun talking about it. Unless it's Grace and she just really does something that just like pisses me off. I generally love what I do because this episode was not really that great. Except for towards the end. I was just gonna say towards the end, towards the last 5 seconds, then it got interesting. And up until then, it was just the same crap that everyone's been doing. And I know that happens with a lot of shows. With this show in particular, because it's only 18 minutes and they got to stretch everything out. They got to kind of rehash a lot of the same stuff. And again, I say that understanding that each show they're going to have characters do and say the same things over and over again. That's are on brand for them. So I don't doubt that. But I mean, literally the same conversations they've been having. Like Quinn and Carter has been having the same conversation for about like maybe 2 weeks or more. Um, Grace has just been pushing this whole Zendaya and Paris thing to depth since she's got there. And constantly bat mouthing Carter like there's no tomorrow and poor Zoe and blah 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 blah. And literally having the same conversations. So you get to a point where you're just like, even as I'm not gonna lie, before I started before I started watching and I saw Grace with Zendaya, I was like, ugh. I'm really just like, why is seeing these two like just gives me that feeling of, oh, here we go again. And of course I turn it on and it's exactly how I imagine it. It'd be just a awful, annoying conversation. I gotta sit there and say, before I go, one of the many bright sides today is that I had a CD that was in my PlayStation 4. This has nothing to do with soap opera, so you can probably just stop watching if you want. It was stuck in my PlayStation for a day, and it got to a point where it's like I couldn't even take it out because it's like it wasn't even registering. And I turned on my PlayStation, and it got to a point where it's like it didn't even I couldn't even hear the sound of the CD spinning or anything. I heard it today, and I took it out. I was like, it's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a really good day, and I was really happy about it. So, well, better. Um, Not just in general about that, because that was just, it wasn't super stressful because it's not like the PlayStation didn't work. It was just seemed like I couldn't play any physical games on it or movies or anything. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.